Imagine a polar bear staring down a king penguin. The penguin tilts its head, curious. The bear lowers its massive paws, ready to strike. It sounds like a bizarre cartoon crossover, but what if it wasn't? What if polar bears somehow appeared in Antarctica? No melting ice bridges, no impossible migrations, just the sudden presence of the Arctic's apex predator in the most isolated ecosystem on Earth. The idea is biologically absurd, and that's exactly why it's so terrifying. Because if it ever happened, the consequences wouldn't be funny. They would be catastrophic. Polar bears and penguins have never shared the same world. One rules the Arctic, the other thrives at the bottom of the planet. They evolved in total isolation, separated by thousands of kilometers and millions of years of evolution. But introduce a polar bear into Antarctica, even hypothetically, and you unleash a predator into an ecosystem that has never prepared for it. Antarctic wildlife has survived brutal cold, violent winds, and lethal oceans. What it has never faced is a large, intelligent land-based hunter. And that's where the nightmare begins. Penguins, seals, and seabirds in Antarctica evolved without terrestrial predators. On land, they're essentially safe. Their enemies, like leopard seals and orcas, hunt from the water, not the ice. As a result, many Antarctic animals show little to no fear on land. Penguins waddle right up to researchers. Seals nap openly on the ice. Curiosity often replaces caution. To a polar bear, this would look like a buffet. Penguins don't run. They don't scatter. They don't recognize danger standing on four legs. A polar bear, capable of sprinting faster than a human and crushing prey with a single bite, would devastate colonies in minutes. Antarctic animals are built to avoid oceanic ambush predators. They have no instincts for escaping a silent, stalking hunter on land. The damage wouldn't stop with penguins and seals. Penguins are major consumers of krill and small fish. If their populations collapsed, krill numbers would explode. That imbalance would ripple upward and downward through the ecosystem. Seals, another primary food source for leopard seals and orcas, would also decline. Suddenly, native predators would face food shortages, not because of climate, but because an invasive apex predator rewrote the rules. This is how ecological collapse begins, not with one species disappearing, but with the slow unraveling of relationships that kept the system stable. One foreign predator could destabilize multiple trophic levels, triggering population crashes, resource booms, and long-term damage that Antarctica might never recover from. Ironically, Antarctica wouldn't be kind to the polar bear either. Despite the cold, Antarctica is not the Arctic. Polar bears rely on sea ice that forms over shallow continental shelves, perfect platforms for hunting seals that surface through breathing holes. Antarctica's ice behaves differently. Much of it is thick, unstable, or floating over deep water, making traditional hunting strategies nearly useless. There are no familiar seal breathing holes, no tundra plants, no reliable freshwater streams. Denning would be another challenge. Polar bears dig snow dens in specific Arctic conditions that don't exist widely in Antarctica. Survival would be difficult, even as the damage they cause unfolds. The bear wouldn't belong. But the destruction would already be done. This scenario is impossible, and that's the point. Nature works because ecosystems evolved together. When we introduce foreign species, intentionally or not, the results are often devastating. From invasive rats on islands to snakes in fragile habitats, history shows us what happens when balance is broken. Antarctica remains one of the last truly untouched wildernesses on Earth. Its survival depends on keeping it that way. Because once an ecosystem like this collapses, there's no rewind button. If you found this thought experiment unsettling, good, it means you understand what's at stake. Protecting wild places isn't optional. It's a responsibility. Subscribe for more mysteries of the natural world, and let's keep the impossible from ever becoming reality.